on the idea of the nothingness that is behind our eyes. And there is nothing much beyond our eyes. If you do a little bit of self-reflection, you'll recognize that there's very little in the way beyond our perception based on a projection that's behind our eyes. And that's all behind our eyes is a projection, and a projection based on a neurological, psychological process. A neurological process causing a psychological process, a neurological interaction causing a psychological effect, interaction causing a process to happen subconsciously and consciously based on interactions inside of the body and outside of the body. Based on this enclosed barrier of a body, things on the outside and things on the inside have an effect just as much as anything else, because it's just a bunch of interactions, chaotic interactions, just a bunch of pieces, smaller pieces and smaller pieces interacting on different levels, causing different interactions. The smaller you go, the simpler it gets, but also the more interaction that you get. You start seeing things for all the complicated interaction that there is. You start seeing things for more what they really are. And just because it's smaller doesn't mean it's not complicated. It still is complicated, but by sheer numbers it's complicated more than anything. And that's more the distinction. Things are more complicated on a level that aren't necessarily by numbers, because the bigger you get, the less there's numbers. It compensates by the fact that it's just a bunch of moving parts that create these complicated things that cause them to move in different ways. And the thing is greater than the sum of its parts. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and that's what's happening. That's why it's very complicated and unique, and all these different things happening, even though it doesn't mean jack diddly squat, it has some kind of meaning. It means something, that it's a process that created this feeling, the sentient things, and the sentient thing, and that's obviously requires things to work in a certain way. And it's also the process, not just by numbers, but how the things on these different levels work and interact with each other. And beyond that, beyond a projection, beyond something beyond our eyes, beyond our eyes is all we're seeing is we're perceiving. We're projecting and perceiving. We're projecting value on the things. We're perceiving things subconsciously, taking in that information, and very mechanically, even consciously understanding that our process of thinking is A to B, and that's exactly how we think.